It would be 252 strokes in the 250 class. That's especially fair now because they're freaking 95 horsepower on a freaking 250. So it'd be a good matchup, I think. Ooh, yeah, that'd be sick.
Dude, just because this got me last year is the going off the track, like cutting the track. Like I went between a couple tough blocks and it was literally one tough block that I cut the track. I went off the track, got back on, and then I let the guy, I didn't even pass anybody. He was already behind me because the way they ruled it, whatever. I let the guy around and they still docked me a position for it. So I would definitely go back to how it was like a few years ago where if you went off the track, you know, you get back, if you're 3 seconds in front of somebody, you let them catch up till about 3 seconds, 2 seconds, whatever you gotta do, and then you start racing again. I think that's the way it should be. Or if you go off the track and you cut and get in front of somebody, you let them go back by, get about the same distance you were, and then go. Like, I guess there's a lot of variables that can affect that, so maybe that's why they changed it, I don't know. But that's, just because I've been gotten by that rule before, I would change that.
Oh man, anybody got a pen and paper? One AMA rule. I think there's more porta potties behind the starting gate.
There is a fine for not using the portable restroom, if you will. So I can see, I might even be able to think of which rider that was. But we have 2 or 3 that we try to put down there and hard bathrooms back there. But you know, sometimes they come off that line after a sight lap or something and maybe bypass it when they shouldn't bypass it, but they're definitely there. That just needs to be a request. So let's just bring that up and we'll try to handle that.
Well, if I could change one AMA rule, I'd like to get my 7 points I lost back last year. I think it was a little bit of an iffy call on their part, so I'd like to get my 7 points back.
If I could change one AMA rule, it would be the blue flag rule. Once you get lapped once, you gotta get out of the way.
Interesting. I'd say the way our talent is on the racetrack right now, might not have too many riders left if we did that, but that is a subject that comes up quite a bit, and we try to work through it with those guys the best we can.
For rules? No idea. Yeah, I don't break too many rules, so I guess I don't have any problems right now.
Would be in outdoors. If you go inside the markers, it's a pretty harsh position penalty because there was a lot of that going on last year and didn't benefit me from staying inside the markers as much as I would have liked it to when other guys were going outside the markers, so that's one of them.
Yeah, track markers are hard. That's really the guideline. Right here in Supercross we have tough blocks, right? So outdoors we have track markers because we can't physically put tough blocks around a mile and a half racetrack. So we do the best we can with that, and we're going to try to make some improvements even going in. It's something we deal with every single year. So maybe some of the different track layouts or track maintenance on it can try to help mitigate some of those issues too.
I think isn't there still like this points system where you basically point out and you have to go to 450 class? That's probably what I would change.
Yeah, those are always hard, right? It's hard to make one rule that and it's good for everybody. There's always going to be something that affects somebody, and it's impossible to make a rule that it's perfect in every way. So we've heard the feedback, and we continue to work with those guys for sure.
I would change it to where there's an age limit in the 250 class.
They bring back 2 strokes. I'd like to see a 250 class, 2 strokes.
They wanted a 2-stroke class, yeah. 2-stroke class would be cool, I'm not gonna lie to you, for sure.
Or the 252 stroke in the 250.
Yeah, right, yeah, that comes up a lot too, for sure, but we're just not there with that.
I'd say I'd change the off-track penalties because sometimes they're not fair.
Probably cut the track.
No, the rules are perfect as is.
The 250 point out rule. It's pathetic.
One AMA rule, 250 eligibility. They got to figure something out with that because that caused me a lot of trouble.
Yeah, that's come up in the last couple of years, right? That's a rule that we keep going back and forth on, and we've made some changes in the last 2 years or so that we feel are pretty good now. And when you make rule changes, really you want to get a couple of years in and see how it's working. and right now it is working. So it's something we constantly talk about and taking the rider feedback. But right now we're seeing what our current rule is, and it seems to be going well.
Changing to stagger start is like a road racing. So kind of like you getting the pole position in practice actually means your start position a lot.
One AMA rule. Okay, so to not be in the middle of the start gate, because sometimes those get, dude, like the SMX rounds, there were some gnarly ruts at that second round.
Yeah, Chicago.
I would have loved to like been on the side.
You gotta know the rules first to be able to change them.
If I could change one AMA rule, probably that you can, I don't like the fact that the 250 Supercross counts for your number for next year, for like the next year or whatever, because if it didn't, I would have a career number by now. So, probably that.
I think maybe not a rule question, but the craziest thing was in Salt Lake during COVID. The stadium was quiet, right? You could hear a pin drop in there, and we had all the guys lined up on the line, and someone radioed up to me and said, "Hey, the rider wants to talk to you." So I talked to him, and he said, "Dude, can you put some music on? It's just way too quiet. We're not used to this going into a race." And that was the most unique thing so far, for sure.